The day has arrived. Captain Britain has returned home and he brought some friends with him. I know someone who is very happy about it. Hello and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. And today is a special day as finally Captain Britain has returned home. So raise those teacups high, as in front of me today I have the Marvel Legends Excalibur 3-pack with Meggan, Captain Britain and Shadowcat. So obviously I'm a little bit biased as I had the absolute privilege of officially revealing this version of Captain Britain into the Marvel Legends line on my channel. So forever this 3-pack will hold a special place in my collection. But I am excited to get this open today and add these to the collection. And of course, reunite Brian with his good friend Hellfire Hank. So that reunion is still to come, but I'm going to go through this review as I usually would. Check out the figures. I know I've already looked at Brian, but I'll look at him again as we look at the other figures and see if we can build some sort of Excalibur display for the collection. So the packaging, first and foremost, we see all three of them in the box. We even get Lockheed up there as an accessory, and then Ryan told me this was the Sword of Might, but I really think it's Excalibur, so I'm going to say it's Excalibur, but Hasbro told me it's the Sword of Might. But we have the two interchangeable heads for Brian, of course, and then we get some interchangeable hands for both Kitty and Meggan. The blue and the sort of pink is sort of a reminisce, a throwback to the 90s with the sort of card designs on the back. So instead of our standard bios, we get these fun sort of cards. It would have been great if the figures actually came with cards as well. That would take it to the next level, as we do get Marvel Legends cards these days. So obviously, I'm not going to go through all the details. You can wait until you get this box set yourself. But it says Excalibur up there in the corner, and then we get 3 cards. One for Shadowcat, another for Brian, Captain Britain, and then of course one for Meggan as well. So if you want to check it out, pause it and you can go back and read those details. Otherwise, wait until you get it in hand yourself. But there's a nice little character bio, some facts about the characters when they debuted, etc. And yeah, this is always fun when they do stuff like that on the packaging. But for me, I'm cracking this one open. So let's do it. So here we have all 3 of them out of the packaging with all of their accessories on the table, which isn't a lot, to be fair. They do all, however, come with a set of interchangeable fisted hands, which I do appreciate for the alternative sort of neutral pose, but I do think Marvel Legends should come with them as standard. Brian, of course, comes with 2 interchangeable head. One with the beard is a little bit more modern, and then he has Excalibur or the Sword of Might, you decide, and then Kitty comes with a Lockheed. Meggan doesn't really come with anything else, but they do look good out of the box, all standing there posed together, and I can't wait to build the actual Excalibur team of this era. Now, we do already have Kurt Wagner, of course, Nightcrawler, but we don't have Rachel yet. So hopefully 2022 we can actually complete the team, but for now we're nearly there. So let's look at all of these individually, and I'm not going to skip over Brian, but I'll save him till last. And first, let's look at Rich M's favourite, shout out displayed once, Shadowcat. So starting off with Kitty Pryde, I actually think Hasbro have done a really good job of capturing Shadowcat's look from this Excalibur era with her uniform with the different shades of blue on here, which I'll look at in a minute. But first, the head sculpt. As you can see, she looks really pretty, to be fair. Nice red lips with the white teeth shining through. Very happy, very smiley. And then she's got her Zorro mask on there, which is accurate to the Excalibur look. Now, she did have a longer hair during that era as well, so you do get her hair all the way down her back. And this is very nicely sculpted as well. And it is just one shade of brown, but the way the lights hit it creates shadows, which makes it look like it's got a bit of a black wash in there, but it hasn't. It's just the lights hitting it. But still, it's a very nice sculpt. And then you get this curl coming around to the front, which again makes it very much look like her appearance during Excalibur. If I zoom out a little bit, we can see the rest of her outfit. So again, it's these 2 different shades of blue. So the character design is obviously very similar. She had these puffy sleeves, but I do think during the comics, these sleeves, these sort of shoulders were definitely puffier than the Legend is. But still, it still hits the points of the costume design. We get this separate belt piece with the lighter blue to match the tights. And then down here, you get the boot cut actually with the darker blue on the boot. So it works nicely with the design of the figure. So yeah, it sort of hits all the key points with the big collar as well. So yeah, you can't be mad at Hasbro in this day and age. I do think her outfit read a little bit high, if you know what I'm talking about. But it still hits all the key points of her uniform from Excalibur, so no complaints from me. Out of the box, she comes with a set of open palm hands. Now, they come with a lot of female figures that do magic effects and stuff, but I do think for Kitty it works, as it sort of demonstrates her abilities when she's sort of about to morph through things. But yeah, she does also come with a set of interchangeable fisted hands, which, as I said, should be standard for all Marvel Legends, but I really do think it helps with a more neutral pose, especially for the way I display my figures all on the shelf standing there. But yeah, I think it looks good. Kitty looks very nice, but she is missing a piece, which is of course her little companion Lockheed, which we do get in this box set. Now, we have seen Lockheed before with Marvel Legends. It came with the previous Kitty Pryde, and it also came with Magic, that Walgreens exclusive, but I believe he was red at that point. But still, this looks nice, and I really like this because it can sort of sit on her shoulder. So what you do is you take the curly bendy tail and you sort of wrap it around her neck. So obviously her hairpiece, you got to move it out of the way and make that happen, but like so, you can get Lockheed sitting on her shoulder, which looks really nice for display. And to be fair, he looks like he's sitting on there flush as well. There's no gap, he's not like floating on there, and it's a nice tight grip as well. Like if I turn her upside down, Lockheed is not falling off her, so I like that. It fits in place. He's not going to go flying off your shelf and go missing, so that's really nice. You can see his wings sort of hugging her hair there. But this is the same Lockheed that we got before, just in a slightly different shade of purple, so I will of course do a Kitty Pryde comparison right now. So here we have our Kitty Pryde comparison, both with Lockheed on the shoulder, and as you can see, as mentioned, he is a lighter shade of purple on the Excalibur version. But the big difference for me between Excalibur, Shadowcat and X-Men Kitty Pryde is the size difference. It's like Kitty is shrunk during the Excalibur era, which shouldn't be the case. I do think both versions of this character should be standing at the same height, so I'm not too sure which one I prefer. I guess it depends on how they look standing with the rest of their respective teams. But yeah, definitely on a different body mold, obviously. I do think this mold was used for different versions of the X-Men. That's why she's on the taller female body. But yeah, Shadowcat is shorter than Kitty Pryde, and as you can see, back to back, definitely a big difference there. So yeah, I don't know if that's going to be a factor for anybody. I'm sure it won't make a difference because for me, they're not going to be standing next to each other on the shelf. They're going to be on separate spots. So I'm not complaining about it. But yeah, definitely a point to note. Shadowcat is smaller than Kitty Pryde, but Lockheed, the same size. For another quick comparison, here we have Shadowcat compared to another female Marvel Legend, this time round the sister of Captain Britain, Psylocke, and then we have her Excalibur companion with Nightcrawler. And I do think the size works. It's just odd that she's much shorter than the previous Kitty Pryde, considering they're the same person. And then finally, I almost forgot, I have another version of Shadowcat Kitty Pryde in my display. It is of course the alternative reality Age of Apocalypse version, and even she is taller than this Excalibur version of the character, which is a little bit odd. Not a big deal, really isn't, because they're going to be in different places in the display. Just something to note is all. Next up, of course, we have Captain Britain's wife, Meggan. Now, I wanted to look at this figure in full first, just to sort of show you that she will stand up, even with that big, heavy head of hair that goes all the way past her bum. But she's got the bare feet, but she will stand no problems at all. It is all about balance, of course, but still something to note. And also, she's wearing her green outfit. Now, she did have a couple of noticeable costumes in the comics, one of them being that debut of Excalibur orange uniform, which I hope we get in Legends form in the future, but for now the green one is seen a lot in the comics, so no complaints from me at all. And yeah, she looks really nice. She's got her pixie ears as well, and the head of hair is heavy enough where I'm sure I'll be able to get a flight stand underneath there to help her balance, so we can get her flying as well, as she does see, she is seen flying a lot in the comics too. But yeah, there's no way this girl's looking up. Of course, the hair just slams across her body, but she can look down, but as you can see how big that hair is, that is a massive head of hair. But yeah, she looks good, so let's check out that pretty little face. I think this is a really nice face sculpt for Meggan, to be fair. Nice big smiling face with the nice pink red lips, and then you've got the green eyes, and then there you can see her little pixie ears poking through there, which is a nice touch, with a massive head of hair, which is obviously a brand new unique sculpt. This could be used on like Medusa maybe. That would definitely help her stand on the shelf. But it's a nice sort of sculpted hair, no doubt about it at all, but it is all just one sort of yellowy plastic. Doesn't really look like there's any shade in there. Again, when the shadows hit it, the sculpt does create shadows and make it look like there's dark tones in there, but I do think it's all one solid yellow bit of plastic. Maybe there is a bit of a wash. I can't really tell when the lights hit it, but still, it doesn't look like one big block of yellow. There are elements and shades and nice sculpt to it. So yeah, it works. And again, it's not going to tip her over all about the balance. Other than that, her green costume has got the black sort of outlines, which is all pretty clean on the figure. No complaints at all. Single jointed elbows, as you would expect for female Marvel Legends. She's got the pins on the knees, but again, as you would expect, and then all the way down to her tippy toes as well. But again, she will stand no problems at all. But she is seen flying a lot, so we'll try on a flight stand in a minute. But just like Kitty Pryde, she does come with these sort of female sort of expressive hands, which we see on a lot of our Marvel Legends. We also get a set of fisted hands, which, as I always say, I appreciate for the more neutral Marvel Legends pose. Now, small gripe with Meggan. As you can see, she has the sort of naked shoulders due to her costume design. So they've had to use a skin tone pin so it looks nice and flush from the top. So I understand it, no problems at all. However, if I now lift the arms up and start articulating, it sort of looks like we can see her sort of armpits, unfortunately. So that is obviously on both arms. So be careful when you're sort of articulating her around, because she may reveal a little bit too much. Now, it's the same issue that we get with Spider-Man figures where they can't do multiple colour pins, so we always get a red dot or a blue dot sticking out on a uniform. This is the same issue where they've chose to use the skin tone on the pin, so we have the sort of naked shoulders, but then we get the skin tone for the pin when you articulate the arms rather than the green, which is a small gripe, but you would think in 2020 it's an issue that can be resolved. But yeah, disappointing. So my Meggan will have to unfortunately always keep her arms down, otherwise it will bug me. But just something to note. As I mentioned, that you can get her up on a flight stand. You just sort of have to tuck the flight stand underneath her hair like you have here, but it still works where she's looking forward enough for it to work on a display. So I think that works out really well. So you can get a sort of floating above some of the characters on a shelf to sort of help us stand out a little bit, which I always like to make the shelf and displays a little bit more dynamic. Now you can get her maybe standing above Captain Britain, of course. So yeah, I like when you can make stuff like that work, and that is definitely a positive of that massive hair. So if you are struggling to get her to balance, then get a flight stand underneath that hair and get her floating up on your display, because she can fly. For our first comparison, let's bring Shadowcat back in here to see how these two size up next to each other. Now, in the comics, Meggan is taller than Shadowcat, so I do think this is going to work for scale, but I still think that Shadowcat's a little bit too small. But in regards to actual size, you can see Shadowcat is about 5 3/4 inches, while Meggan stands at about 6 1/4 inches. Now, that is because her hair is really thick. So if we compare it to other Legends, you'll see how Meggan, to the top of her forehead's about the same sort of average female Marvel Legend size. It's just that hair that makes her that little bit taller. But for the sake of a display, I still think this scale works for the characters. Now we see Meggan compared to Psylocke and Nightcrawler. And again, she is taller than the three of them, but because her hair just has so much volume, I think volume is the right word to use, but the forehead does match up with the forehead of Psylocke. So she is on that sort of standard female Marvel Legends body. It's just that hair is massive. Now, I believe that Meggan had a bit of a crush on Colossus in the comics for a little bit as well. So here we have Meggan compared to Colossus. And as you can see, I'm still utilising that big hair so I can get her balanced up on a flight stand next to another Legend. So I think she looks really good, even at that height as well, on a flight stand. So yeah, looking good. And then here we have the lovely couple sharing an embrace, finally reunited in plastic. Here we have Captain Britain and, of course, Meggan. And finally, let's check out Captain Britain once again. Now, obviously, I've already done an in-depth look of this figure on my channel when I originally revealed him. I even did a Who Is He segment explaining Captain Britain's origins and this particular character design. So make sure you check out that video in the description. But I will still do a recap of this figure now I have it in hand yet again. So let's get to it. As we know, he comes with 2 head sculpts. This first one matches this character design where he has the Union Jack sort of helmet. Now, the helmet isn't as predominant as I'd like it to be, but you can see the sculpt work of the chin strap and the sculpt going over the nose. Now, it's very thin, but it is meant to represent a helmet. We do get the Union Jack sort of logo there, and those white lines are quite crisp, no sloppiness on the helmet, and we have the whited out eyes and no real paint details on the skin tone either, on the lips or anything like that. So quite a subtle subtle sort of helmet, but we get the whited out eyes, and it does match this character design. On the back is just all blue. Those ear muffs are sort of red, but yeah, nice design. We do get the modernized head. This time round, Brian has a beard, and I do really like this head sculpt, I'm not going to lie. So it's the same head, but this time the sort of face has the blonde beard on there, and it's sort of swiping to one side like it's caught in the wind, but he's still got the whited out eyes. He still has a slight sort of sculpt work to sort of resemble the helmet and that same Union Jack design on the top of the head. But this particular sort of bearded Brian Braddock look doesn't really fit this classic looking Alan Davis design. It's more for a modernized costume, but he can still make it work. I get why they added it, and I appreciate that they added it so you can make it a little bit different to any of the previous Captain Britons we've already got on the shelf. So I do appreciate it. I like options as always, and yeah, I just can't help it. I like the beard. Taking a look at the rest of the figure, we figured out that this is on the Odinson body mold, so it makes this Captain Britain a little beefier, a little broader compared to any of the previous versions, which I appreciate. The Union Jack logo on the front, again, is nice and crisp with those white lines looking very clean, cutting the reds and the blues up. And again, he's got the white gloves, moving down to the legs, the white trousers with these blue boots with the sort of knee pads over the knees, but it doesn't hinder the articulation at all. It moves up with the upper thigh, and then you've got the boot cut hidden with the blue boot, so I like that a lot. The same with the actual gloves. You'd think there's a cut there, but there is no cut on the gloves. The swivel is at the hand. Other than that, you do get a swivel up there at the top of the arm, swivel at the top of the thigh, and a swivel worthy of mentioning. Of course, you can see that line going across the waist, so he has a waist swivel, and if I swivel the waist, you can actually see the blue plastic underneath, which means we get this blue line cutting him at the waist. Now, if that was painted white, we probably would get a more cleaner sort of cut, so it wouldn't be as predominant. It's not a big deal, of course, because it's nice to know where the points of articulation are, but it could have been a bit more subtle if it was painted white on the upper torso. I'm sure you can see what I mean there with the blue paint hidden underneath. That same sort of gripe sort of follows on from the arm. So no pinless technology on this Captain Britain, but again, it gives Hasbro room to sort of evolve and give us a better version in the future. But we do get the red pins there on the front, and that means no multicolour pins. We now get those red pins sticking out on the blue. So he has the same issues that we have with a lot of our Spider-Man designs as well. Unfortunately, that same issue follows on the shoulder as well, as all the pins and joints now are red, where they should be blue underneath the arm. So again, if this was utilising that new pinless technology, which we know Hasbro can do, it would have took this figure to the next level. But again, it gives them room to upgrade in the future. So for now, it looks really good. And I'm biased, people. Like, I'm just trying to nitpick here, so I don't just seem too happy. But I am obviously very happy to have this guy back in the collection, and he will be a big deal on the shelf. And yeah, I love this guy a lot. So yeah, Captain Britain, really good. He has a set of C-grip hands, so he can hold Excalibur. Or is it the Sword of Might? I'm still unsure. I think it's Excalibur, but I'm being told by Hasbro it's actually the Sword of Might. But then when you compare it to pictures in the comics, it sort of looks like Excalibur. So make your own mind up. But let's take a look at this sword. He can hold it in both hands, as you can see, so we can swipe it or raise it high. All good stuff like that. But let's take it out of his hands and just take a look at the sword. So it has got some nice sculpted details on here. So the handle is black, of course. Got a little medallion down there. And then you get all this nice sculpted detail across the sword. And it is all sculpted. It would have been great to have a darker wash in here to sort of bring it out a little bit more, but it is a very nice looking sword. But I still think it's Excalibur, but they're telling me it's the Sword of Might. You tell me in the comments, but still, it doesn't really matter. It's a sword for Captain Britain, and I like that he can hold it no problem at all, and it does make it for a nice epic display. Just be careful though, because the handle is black, his gloves are white, so the more you sort of take it in and out of his hands, that black handle will rub off onto the inside of the white glove. So just be careful, but still, I love that we got it as an added addition. And if you don't want your Captain Britain wielding a sword, then don't worry. He comes with a set of interchangeable fisted hands, so Brian Braddock here can get into some old school fisticuffs. Jumping into some comparisons, here we have Captain Britain compared to the previous Marvel Legends Captain Britain, which, as you can see, is on one of the more modernised character designs for Captain Britain. But this new one is taller, and I still believe a little bit more broader than this one. But this one is just so much more iconic looking, in my opinion. But I don't hate the modernised designs. What would have been great and made this sort of accessory over the top, this bearded head this actually does fit on the previous body, which as you can see could have worked really well just as an alternative head for this one, but the blues and the reds do not match at all. The red's a lot darker on this and the blue has a bit of a metallic sheen compared to the helmet on this one, but it would have been nice if that would have worked, but still not mad about it. Here we have Captain Britain compared to Union Jack, UK repping as always. Here we have Brian compared to his sister, yes, his sister, Psylocke. Go and read a comic. And I haven't got round to actually reviewing the What If wave yet, but I will very soon. But for the sake of UK repping, here we have the Disney Plus What If Captain Carter compared to Captain Britain. And people have asked me if that shield will work with Captain Britain. So the answer is, it doesn't really match in regards to colour tone, as the Captain Carter colours are a little bit darker on her Union Jack shield. And also, it's just too small. As if you look it round here, it doesn't even attach, like I can't even attach the hand back into the arm. So like, it's just sort of dangling there. So definitely doesn't fit big, thick Captain Britain's arms in the shield. But you can sort of fudge it if you wanted to do it. But still, UK repping. And the reunion we have all been waiting for. Here we have Captain Britain next to Worthy, Hal, Fire, Hank. Ah, that's nice. He's missed his friend. So finally, let's try and build Excalibur. Now, we are obviously missing Rachel Summers. We do not have her in figure form, so we are not going to be able to complete Excalibur today. But we can add one more member to the crew. And no, it's not you, Hank. It is, of course, Kurt Ragnar himself, Nightcrawler, as he was part of the original Excalibur team. So there's the 4 of them. Now we just need the Phoenix Rachel to stand right here, and we have the original Excalibur lineup. Now it won't look exactly how they look on that first issue because Meggan, as I said, is in the green outfit, not the orange. So we're not going to be able to create that first sort of appearance, that first issue cover for a while yet in Legends form. But at least we have all the characters we needed in plastic, nearly. We just need Rachel. So as I said, hopefully 2021, Hasbro know what they're doing. They know we're missing Rachel. Let's complete that team. So until then, we have these 4. Pow! So final thoughts. Now, obviously, I'm going to always be a little bit biased towards these set, not just because it's Captain Britain, but also because of it got revealed on the channel. So you should just ignore what I think and make your own mind up and buy it yourself. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you a fan of Excalibur? Are you happy to get this 3-pack? Do you wish it was a 5-pack? Do you think we're ever going to get Rachel? Do you prefer Meggan in the green or the orange? So many questions. Give me all of the answers in the comments below. Much appreciated as always, and thank you once again to Hasbro and the Marvel team for allowing me to do this and for sending this figure my way a little bit early, but hopefully it should be in your hands by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, and if you like Marvel Legends, you like me talking toys, you like live streams, all that good stuff, then please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter as well. Tweet me at Dan Who Reviews. And until next time, people, my name is Dan W, and you will see me on the next one.